Hello, artists. Welcome back to the Art Life Conversations podcast. I am artist, teacher, coach, mentor, Kelli Folsom, and so happy to be here with you again today. If you are an artist who is wanting to be more successful in every aspect of your art life, if you're wanting to have more fulfillment and thrive more, then that is the purpose of this podcast, and that is what I'm here to serve you with. So today I'm going to be talking about what I've learned about how to be a successful artist. Like, what are the key ingredients that it takes to really be a successful artist, from, making your art, learning about art, getting that high skill level that you desire, and also having a successful, financially abundant and lucrative art business as well. I don't see any difference between those two. I really see them as all interconnected, okay? And so I'm going to go through these 6 elements that you need to have in your art life. You need to embody habits that you need to adapt in order to be your most successful self as an artist. So here we go. Let's dive in. All right. And if you're new here and you find this podcast valuable, or if you're watching it on YouTube, please like or download, subscribe to the channel so that you can get the most new up-to-date videos as well. Okay, so the number one thing I'm going to say, because this is the thing that helped me the most right off the bat as an artist, and that is education. Okay, please avoid the self-taught trap. Always say, like, if I'm self-taught, then, the teacher is maybe really not that good. So teaching yourself, you will just always come up against yourself, against your own limitations. I know for me as a little girl, I loved playing the piano. I had just a few piano lessons and I just took off with them. But then my parents couldn't afford to continue piano lessons, but I had the books, and of course this is pre-YouTube and all that and all the online stuff. And so I kept trying to teach myself. I was so determined and I was so committed, and I would practice and try to teach myself out of these books. But at the end of the day, there came a point where I could not understand some of the higher level concepts that the book was trying to teach me on my own, and I had no teacher around me to help me with that. So eventually what ends up happening is you just plateau out. And then for me, of course, losing desire, like, why I don't want to just keep playing the same songs or stay at the same level. I want to get better, And so education, I would say, is the number one thing. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to go to art school and get a degree. There are so many fantastic, and there's also really bad art teachers out there too, but there's some really great art classes you can even find online. It doesn't even mean that you have to go study with somebody in person. I mean, that is, part of what I provide for artists online is the Art Life School, where you can get feedback and get instruction and get help. So the number one thing is education, and that goes for both your art skills and educating yourself in terms of running an art business. Both of those things you're going to need education in. Both of those things I myself have invested probably about $200,000 in since 2007. And I know that seems like a lot of money. Of course, that's spread out. My art school was about $100K. But because I did that, because I made that investment in my education, both in my art skills and my art business, I have made all of that money back, and of course more than that. Okay, number two is really mastering yourself. This is things, and of course, each of these we could dive into so deep, but with the time here, I just wanted to give you kind of these 6 elements, just like elements of art, right? Like there's elements of art that make a piece of art successful, and it's the same thing. You can follow the same type of idea and recipe for your art life success. So these are self mastery. These are things like working on your imposter syndrome, working on your self doubt, right? Like building more confidence, believing in yourself more, realizing that you're not an imposter. All of us had to start at the same place. Managing your inner critic, how you talk to yourself, what you believe, working on any blocks that you have in terms of money blocks, all these things. This is a actualizing self-mastery process. And I find that for me, that the more that I master that, the more successful I become. And that too has been an education process that I've gotten a lot of help with. And of course, there's so many free resources out there as well. Okay, number 3 to being a successful artist is really discovering your artistic voice, okay? And in the business world, they would probably describe this as discovering your brand, right? Like clarifying your brand and discovering your brand. I really see it as like finding your own artistic voice, really knowing what that is. There's a lot of artists out there who haven't discovered that yet, and they really maybe paint in too many different styles, too many different techniques. They're all over the place. One day they're painting like this artist, another day they're painting like this artist. And what you're going to find is that that's really going to limit your success as an artist, because people really want to know what the artist thinks, what they stand for, why they paint the way that they paint. Why does Kelli paint from life? What does that mean to her? Why does she paint alla prima? Why does she paint still life, for the most part? So you want to discover that for yourself. And this is something too that even in art school, like they did not teach us. I had to put myself through a self-discovery process on my own because I had no coaches or mentors back there to help me with, like I help, artists find their own artistic voice. But you really do want to find that out. Who are you? What is your why as an artist? What really drives you? What really lights you up as an artist? What is your brand? What do you stand for as an artist? What are you against as an artist? And that's the only way that you're really going to be able to get your messaging clear and your marketing clear and have like a clear identity as an artist that really makes you stand out from the crowd and come out of obscurity and stand out from among other artists. So that is really, really critical if you want to become a successful artist in this life. Okay. The 4th thing is you must market and possibly network. You have to really do both. Now, I tend to market more than I network, and some artists network a lot more than they market. But you really will need to do both in order to have the most success as an artist. So this means that you have to put yourself out there, right? Which, of course, again, going back to that self-mastery, means that you're going to have to come up against fears, fears of rejection, fears of not fitting in, fears of criticism, fears of not belonging perhaps to certain art organizations, to certain art groups. But if you stay in obscurity and you stay in isolation, I can guarantee you that you will not have success as an artist in any aspect. And I'm not just talking business, I'm talking, just mental and emotional health, and your inspiration level when it comes to, showing up at the easel. So we all do better in a culture and in a community. We know that we're human beings. We function better in that kind of environment. And of course, you're going to have to market yourself. You can't hide away in a corner, hide your work in a closet, and be a successful artist. So you're going to have to believe in yourself enough to put yourself out there. and market your work. Okay, the fifth thing, this is a huge, all of these are so fundamental. You have to do every single one of these if you want to be successful. But the fifth thing is really setting goals, and I would say setting high goals. Okay, setting goals that really inspire you, that really motivate you. And again, we could dig into all of these and do like a whole podcast on each one of these topics. But setting goals, I didn't used to set goals, and as soon as I learned how to set goals and why to set goals, everything started changing for me in my art life and in my success. So I'm a firm believer in setting goals. Now, you want to make sure that those goals are in alignment with who you are as an artist, as a person, what you value in this life, because whatever your top values are the things that you're going to be most motivated for. But setting goals, right? And I think, there's like the acronym, the SMART goals. The thing that I take away from SMART goals the most is that your goals need to have a specific timeline to them, and they need to have a number. And I talked about this a couple of podcasts ago with the revenue goal that we talked about. But setting high goals, both for your art achievement, for your revenue goals, for anything, you just want to be able to set goals, and of course then track those goals and stay on track with them and hold yourself accountable, or get coaches, teachers, mentors, other artists and peers to help you hold yourself accountable if you need that additional accountability. Okay, the final thing, and this is both the goals and this one really kind of triggers a lot of artists, and it used to trigger me as well, because I was like, I'm spontaneous. What are you talking about? I'm an artist. I just go where the wind blows, and I just go with that inspiration. And this is establishing a routine. You want to have a routine. You want to have a schedule. It doesn't mean that routine is like, you can never change it up or anything like that. But you want to have a routine, and I really also kind of see this as a ritual. And your routines and your rituals really do serve those high goals that you're setting for yourself. If you do not develop new routines, especially if you're just starting out, then what's going to happen is basically you're going to keep doing what you've been doing in your life before. So let's say you're just getting started with painting, and you're just introducing painting into your life. You're really going to have to develop a painting routine, develop a painting schedule. You want to decide, when is it that I'm going to show up at the easel? When is it that I'm going to work on my business? And for me, I put all of that on my Google Calendar. And there, of course, there's evolution and fluctuation in terms of the routine. I'm not like super hard and rigid, but as new things come in, for example, I just signed up to work with a new coach, and so her schedule for her things was kind of conflicting with my schedule. So sometimes you have to kind of adjust your routine, right, and move things around and try it a different way. But the key is, like, you do have to have a routine. You've got to have some sort of regular habits in place that are going to support your success as an artist, and that's both for making your art, marketing your art, and building your art business. You must do both if you want to be your most successful self as an artist. Okay, artists, I hope that this has been helpful to you. I'm super excited to hear from you. So be sure to leave me a comment in the comment section below, or email in at info@artlifewithkelli. Let me know too. I'd love to hear, is there any of this that you are missing from your art life? If there is, that is probably why you are not quite to the level of success yet that you want to be at. So really look at these 6 things, and if you're missing one of them, then you want to get them implemented and integrated into your art life so that you can achieve your dreams as an artist. Okay, if you liked this podcast, be sure to download, be sure to share it with an artist friend. If you're watching on YouTube, like, subscribe, all that jazz. And I will talk to you next week. Happy painting, everybody. Bye.